Hey, welcome to another edition of Local Focus. I'm your host, Sebastian Noel. By the time you see this, the school calendar will be 100% closed. We'll have some New Mexico High School Coaches Association All-Star games for you here on Proview Networks. Of course, the Gladiators continuing their season, hoping to repeat a championship. But the calendar is officially closed on the high school season. But I wanted to bring in a guy I've been trying to get in for a while, actually, one of my absolute favorite players to watch, play, and cover. And that's Hope Christian guard Isaiah Dockery. Isaiah, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like, the compliment I can pay you is, and I think I said it during one of the games, is Isaiah's one of those rare guys that I'd pay to watch play basketball if I didn't have a media credential. Your game was just, watching it your 4 years there at Hope. It was pretty special to watch. And what's funny is we do so many Hope games. Right.
Oh yeah.
We start with the preseason, and the tournaments at Hope, and so we see you every year. And I think one game, Steve and I just kind of turned to each other and we're like, man, we pretty much watched this kid grow up. From this scrawny little dude to there you are this year for something that kind of passed as a goatee, something that kind of looked like biceps. Like we watched you grow up, man.
Yeah.
Talk about your time there. It's got to be pretty special. Obviously, all the years you put in at Hope.
Oh yeah, my time at Hope was it's a crazy time. Honestly, at 4 years, I played varsity. I mean, Coach Murphy was looking at me since I was little, but I kind of just grew up there. And it was kind of nothing different when I got to the varsity level, I just kind of went with everyone and, just got there.
Where did your basketball start? Obviously, your dad, former Lobo, so that had to be a pretty big influence, but kind of take us through the early years.
Oh, yeah, earlier, I mean, honestly, I wasn't even forced into basketball. I started when I was about 3 years old. My dad would take me to the little park, like, down the street, and I was putting up shots on a 10-foot goal when I was at least 4 or 5 years old, and I just started from there. I mean, I'd play every single day. I loved it. It was great. And I still love it, too, till this day.
First organized team, when did that take place? When was your first team? Do you remember?
It was like Little League. I don't remember. I had a big old fro. It was like, first organized team was, I think I was like 4 years old. But then I started into AYBO when I was like 7-ish. So, yeah, I mean, I started really early.
And now, were you all in on basketball? I mean, were you around your dad? Would you bug to go to Lobo games? Or were you just kind of, or did you just, like you said, develop it naturally and grow into it?
Oddly enough, I would want to go to the Lobo games, but I'd end up falling asleep probably about fourth quarter when I was little, like when I was young. I'd love the basketball, but I'd always get tired for some reason. I don't know why, it's just all the energy. But yeah, I'd bug my dad, and he'd always want to go see him because he was a former Lobo. So yeah, it kind of worked out.
Hey, we have that in common. Lobo basketball puts me to sleep too, man. That's why I watch UCLA.
Oh, man.
I mean, you said it. You said it. I'm just agreeing. Yeah, we definitely have that in common.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some early influences on your game. Obviously, your dad, I would imagine, would be an early influence, but what are some pro guys or college guys that you looked at that are like, oh, man, I need to model my game after this?
So I remember when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I remember J.R. Giddens. Do you remember him? Played for the Lobos. I used to watch him. I was like, I always want to be like him. I always want to be athletic like him. I eventually kind of grew up to be a little bit athletic, but I would always watch J.R. Giddens. And then when, I don't remember, it was 2011 when Kyrie Irving got into the league. I was like, I really like this dude's game. I used to watch him on Ball Is Life all the time. I was like, I want to model my game after him. And then I got into shooting after Curry. And after all these players kind of bunched in, I just kind of like modeled my own game. Does that make sense? So like I had a bunch of influences on my game. And then my dad's tapes and stuff, I mean, I used to watch it and I kind of have the same form as him, but he had a prettier form than me, so I don't know.
Now, you mentioned your dad's tapes. Is there some stuff on those tapes you're like, man, Pops, you're pretty good at this? Like, what stood out about your dad's game?
I don't know. I don't know if it was against Arizona State. He hit the game winner against one team, and I was like, dang, this dude was really good back in his day. And I was like, I want to be like him kind of when I grow up. But, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like take it. I mean, he went to junior college first and stuff, so I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to be like, you know, I take my time, but I want to be just like him and be able to hit shots like he did and, you know, play just like he did. So, yeah.
And then obviously it comes time for high school. Was Hope always going to be the destination? Talk about that.
My mom kind of, it wasn't even for basketball. My mom always just kind of put me in there because she wanted me to get a good job, you know, good education. It was just like, Hope was like that. She didn't want to pay too much because academy is a lot, but she wanted to be like, I want him to go to Hope. So I was always predestined to go there since I was 3 years old. So yeah.
So what you get to Hope, you see all the pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
You here comes this guy with the raspy voice. I mean, what are your first impressions of Hope?
I mean, my first impressions, I used to go to their basketball camp when I was little, so I was like, oh, I want to be like them. But I didn't really know what it kind of took to be like that until I got there my 8th grade year, and I was like, dang, I really want to play for them, and it looks like a lot of hard work, but it looks really tiring. And I don't know, it was kind of scary at first, but then I kind of adapted to it, so yeah.
We'll take our first time out here, and then we'll talk about that adapting, and we'll talk about his time in Hope and the culture shock and how it all came about.
High school sports are back. The 2018-19 season kicks off, and you could watch every Proview Network broadcast live on the NFHS network. Every moment, from every game, from every sport, including all NMAA state championships. Get your highly discounted monthly pass now. Go to ProviewNetworks.com and sign up. Watch New Mexico's best. The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
back with Hope Christian's Isaiah Dockery. Doc, so we left off with you get to Hope, and here you are.
Yeah.
There's no turning back. So talk about the adjustment.
The adjustment was kind of, it got really intense really fast. So he puts all of his kids together.
I
and he puts
can't
them,
imagine.
Yeah, puts all the kids together and then he puts them through a varsity workout. And that was every single day. And then we'd play every
Okay,
single day.
so let me
through the
stop
summer.
you right there.
Yeah.
What's the varsity workout there at Hope? What's that like? Take us through that.
I mean, honestly.
Is it counting trophies? Is that included or no?
No,
Okay,
that's
all
not.
right,
That's not it.
All right, so take us through it.
It's like, it's not more on basketball side. It's more just running defense, running defense, running defense, and then we start getting into basketball throughout this, or like shooting and stuff like that, like skills throughout. Right. So yeah, I mean.
That's tough for a young fella to get used to. I mean, because you obviously want to do all the other things. You want to do shooting, right? But when you're just running in defense, is that tough? I mean, does that? I would see during your 4 years, how many freshmen do you see weeded out during that process?
I mean, they want to. It's crazy. They have like a kind of like a no cut policy. They don't really cut that many people. They kind of cut themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
So people like after the first week, they'll get too tired and they'll be like, nah, this ain't for me, and then they'll just kind of leave afterwards. But like it kind of filters out the good ones. So.
Okay, so you get through this period. What's next?
So like after the shock period, honestly, I mean, you kind of fill in nicely because he puts you in like where you like kind of fit. So like you fit in JV or whatever. So like my 8th grade year, I got to JV and I fit nicely because I played point guard and I averaged a lot of points, but whatever. Like he filters you in and then he kind of weeds you in with like the team, but a lot of it is like more team chemistry and like plays, which is kind of odd because this year we took a lot of threes and it kind of didn't look like we had a lot of team chemistry, but I mean, we did go through it.
Oh, we'll get to that, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, I mean, after that, he just kind of like puts you in where you thought like he thinks that you're going to fit. And yeah, after that, you fit pretty nicely. It's just kind of more like you playing basketball and yeah.
And so what is a lot of the away from basketball, more the team building, the chemistry, what are the things that Murphy does in those aspects of the game that make him so successful and make you guys so successful?
I mean, every single summer we stay together, we play together. I mean, we're basically brothers at that time. But I mean, more on like when we're here on the team aspect, like. I mean, honestly, he'll bring us into his office and we'll watch film together. I mean, every team does that, but like it kind of like he kind of breaks it down for us and stuff. And also he'll have like, I mean, Coach Lon works at Subway and stuff, but like we'll eat Subway together and stuff. I mean, it's just like the little things that work out the most and stuff. So. What
has Coach Murphy done to help you grow as an individual? 100% away from basketball, what does he do to help you guys grow as individuals?
As individuals, well, he focuses on that. Honestly, probably about 50% of the time, like from like basketball and then individual. I mean, he makes you like a strong character. Does that make sense? He wants to make you like hard-headed, like he wants to make you like stone cold. So when the refs get on you or something like that. But like as a character development, I mean, it is a Christian school and he's a very Christian man. And honestly, I mean, we're grown up in the right way, even from 8th grade. So I mean, he doesn't tolerate any attitude and stuff. So I mean, it's kind of like the military, but like kind of not.
Right. So how does he turn a young, brash, wants to shoot it all the time like J.R. Giddens, Isaiah Dockery, to a well-polished basketball player? I mean, look at yourself entering the program and leaving the program. What are the differences? What helped you the most?
Well, entering the program, entering the program, I had a lot of skill, but I didn't know how to use it in the game. You know what I mean? So like, I would do stuff and then like I'd pass it off or something. But he teaches you to be able to have that mindset of like always attack and make the right play at the same time. So like, if you make the wrong play, I mean, sometimes this year it looked a little bit different. But like, if you make the wrong play, like he'll like sit you out for it or something like that. But like that's more of like in the summer. But like his players that he needs, he'll put right back in and stuff. So I mean, it helps you throughout the season and stuff. So.
And obviously you talked about just how much you guys are playing and how much you guys are together. Yeah, that's great and all, but I mean, there's got to be times where, you just want to hang out with your friends, man.
Yeah.
You just want to go home and watch Local Focus on Proview Networks, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you got to go to practice. So,
yeah.
I mean, talk about the sacrifices you guys are making playing home.
There's a lot. I mean, sometimes it's almost too much if you don't love basketball the way that some people do. That's why some people quit right after Hope. I mean, there's a lot of examples. I'm not going to name them, but like that's why. I mean, it's kind of too much at times, but like you kind of learn to love it. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
But yeah, it becomes a lifestyle after a while, and you become like sort of more immune to it. But after you break out of that box of like you're going to practice every day and stuff, I mean, then you're kind of like, oh, I kind of like this real life stuff, like, I got to go hang out with my friends and stuff. So yeah.
How is it different for maybe a guy, guy number 7 or 8 coming off the bench, where they're just in this intense program with this intense coach, with these intense expectations. But then there's a guy like you that obviously has to be thinking about basketball long term.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm asking here, but what are the differences to that player and you?
Okay, well, seeing some attitudes on the bench. Okay, don't get me wrong. There's some good attitudes on the bench, and then sometimes there's some bad. I mean, that really creates some chaos. So, like, the kids like me who, like, love basketball and, like, I'm not going to name any other names, but, like, who love basketball and stuff and, want to play it, like, you kind of enjoy it. But then, like, the people who are 7 and 8, like, you kind of hear some talks around, like, is this really worth it? Like, do I really want to go through all of this just to sit, because you're getting more playing time than me? But, like, it's kind of to a point where you're just like, oh, I'm in high school. I can only enjoy it once. And I think that's what those kids are thinking. Like,
okay, I think I found a better way to phrase that question. This is live TV. This
okay.
happens. All right, so here, let me phrase it this way.
Yeah.
But you did a really good job with that. That gave me some insight too. But okay, is it harder to play for Coach Murphy and to play in that system with those expectations? Is it harder for the guy like you, or is it harder for just a kid like, hey, I need something to do after school. I'm going to play basketball? Because obviously it's got to be hard for the star too.
Yeah, I mean it was hard, but I mean I enjoy it. I mean I didn't enjoy specifically going to practice every day, but I enjoyed basketball so much. It was kind of like a getaway from school because I don't really like school that much. So it was a getaway for me. I feel like it's definitely harder for the 7th or 8th man because sometimes the talks was just bad. I don't know. Yeah, but
from the star's perspective, I always wondered what it's like because Coach Murphy's not the kind of guy that's going to let you run up your stat total. Obviously, that ain't going to happen.
That was hard.
You're not going to be able to, act a fool. You get a bad team coming in there. You're not going to be like, oh man, I'm going to get 40 tonight. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Coach Murphy's not going to let that happen. But that's got to make you mentally more mature as a basketball player and as an adult, right?
Sometimes you look long term and you're like, yeah, I mean, who cares if I got 40 against whatever team, right? But like. Sometimes it was really hard because, I mean, you have more fun sometimes when you're running up the stats and you're having a fun time, but, like, most of the time he'll just get in the 7th or 8th guy or 10th guy, whoever's on the bench. And, I mean, that was kind of hard for me because, like, I'm like, I put in all this extra work and stuff. But, you learn to live with it sometimes. So, you live.
And then I've always wondered do they even have to mention the championships and the expectations, or is it just, do you guys just know it, you feel it, you see it?
Oh, you feel it at the very first day. Like the very first day of preseason, you feel that championship like mentality already. Like they're already after you, like go and stuff like that. So I mean, it's already kind of there. Like you're expected to do something, and if you don't do it, you failed. So yeah.
And he still plays, right? So like I've heard some stories that he can still play, Coach Murphy.
Murphy?
Right?
Oh yeah, he plays in the morning at like 5 a.m.
So have you ever seen that? Or?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, tell me about that. I want to know about that.
He can play. He's got that. How he builds up all of his kids to play defense. He's got that defensive mentality. He's kind of like he's scrappy.
You know who?
He's a scrappy
if I had to pick a guy, and you might be too young for this.
Okay.
But if I had to pick an NBA guy that I bet you Coach Murphy's like, it's got to be John Stockton, right? This choir boy image, right, with the short shorts, and then as soon as you come off that pick, he's elbowing you right in the you know what.
Yeah.
Right? Is that Murphy's game? What's his game?
He's got that fundamental game just like John Stockton. He's got the right hand coming off the pick. He's kind of scrappy, he's sticky too. So yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it right there.
All right. We're gonna take a time out here. More with Doc after this.
All right.
Dream Style Remodeling has been wowing homeowners in New Mexico since 1989. Selected as Best Custom Home Remodeler for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Albuquerque Journal, we're also your exclusive provider for top home improvement brands like Renewal by Anderson, Four Seasons, Blaze King, and many others. Founded and headquartered in Albuquerque, Dream Style Remodeling is family-owned and now employs more than 500 people across the southwestern U.S. In fact, we've helped more than 60,000 homeowners improve their home in New Mexico, Arizona, California, Idaho, and West Texas. We're committed to providing a superior customer experience. We've earned 4.6 stars with hundreds of online reviews and have an A+ with the BBB. Dreamstyle Remodeling is a proud supporter of UNM Athletics. Visit our beautiful 10,000 square foot showroom at 1460 Renaissance Boulevard across from Sam's Club, or dreamstyleremodeling.com to make your home remodeling dreams come true.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
The Albuquerque Dragway is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks. Visit abqdragway.com for directions and a full event schedule.
I'm back with Isaiah Dockery. Hope Husky not much longer, right? What's next for you?
What's next? Well, I have a couple plans. I mean, of course, I'm going to still play basketball. But I think my number one plan right now is probably go junior college, develop, get stronger. You know, can't really. I mean, I'm pretty athletic, but I can get more athletic. So I mean, you know, I'm just gonna develop. I could do some things like prep school, but I think at this point, I think junior college might be my number one option.
Okay, let's look back on the season a little bit. And you're a good sport for coming in and letting us kind of dissect this season. So. I'm just going to put this out there, man. When you go to Hope and you don't win a title, the question is, what happened? So what happened?
This year was a little bit different from other years. We kind of had some players that, you know, couldn't really accept their role. And we also had a lot of, chaos within the team. And this year just didn't fall together like all the other previous years. I mean, we just didn't look like as much of a team out there, and partly it was players, partly it was coaching, but all together it was a team effort to lose.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, how tough is that as the point guard? Because obviously point guard probably has the most to do with team chemistry out on the floor, right? So, I mean, what did that do to you as a player? That had to challenge you as a player, like, you know, at times in the year, did you ever think, man, what do I need to do to get this team on the same page? Talk about that in terms to your role on the team.
Yeah, even looking at the film, it would be kind of like sad because, like, you know, all the blame goes back to like probably Coach Murray, but like most of the blame comes back to me. Like, I got to be the floor general on the court, and sometimes we're looking a little bit like we're just shooting too many threes or we weren't getting stuff together, and like that's partly, you know, it's partly my fault, and that's partly everyone on the team's fault. But like, I mean, it was kind of hard throughout the year. I mean, I was trying to figure out ways that we can, you know, come together, and it just didn't. At the end, it just didn't fall. You know, just didn't fall in place like we wanted it to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to be crazy that the expectations are so high that when you don't win, people ask you what's wrong, right? I mean, you had a pretty good season. You had a fantastic career. But when years don't end in a blue trophy, people are asking you what happened. That's got to be tough. How does that wear on a kid?
I mean, there's quite a bit of wear, I mean, on the kid. But, like, I mean, think about it. We went 7. We had a good run, right? It was 7, 6, something like that. We had a good run. We were going for the, you know, state, you know, record for it this year. And it's really hard sometimes. But, I mean, you learn to get over it, you know, a month past, you know. So you just kind of look to the future and, like, what the future holds for you and stuff. So.
What is the future? I mean, what does the future hold for you? Think the guys coming back, the pieces coming back on that team? I mean, if you had a crystal ball, what are they going to be right back in the title picture next year? You think?
In my opinion, I think next year they have some good talent coming back, but I don't think they have a good leader coming back. So I think they will definitely be in the title picture next year. There's no doubt. Coach Murphy will coach them as well as he can. They'll definitely be in the picture. They'll definitely make state and stuff. But I think that if they can pull it together and do what we didn't do this year, that they can win it next year. But that'll be really hard for them.
All right, let's talk some hoops in general since we have you here. And the when this airs, might be close to NBA final time, right? So what? Who's going to be there? Who's going to be in the finals when this episode airs? Who's going to be there?
Well, in the whole entire NBA finals, it's going to be Golden State, Milwaukee.
Okay.
And then Golden State's going to take it.
Yeah, all right,
I'm sorry.
I got Golden State over Toronto. I like Toronto in the East there. What some of your guys in the NBA? What are guys you would? I gave you the compliment at the beginning. Hey, I'd buy a ticket to watch you play basketball sometimes. Not when you're putting up 23s.
Oh yeah.
Then I use my free pass.
Okay.
But when you're driving and when you're finishing and you're attacking, that's when I would pay. But who are the guys that you love to watch?
That I love to watch personally? Okay. I have a whole list. But players, I'll do top 5. Top 5 players that I like to watch. Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry. He lights up the threes. He's amazing to watch. Surprisingly enough, I like to watch Rondo's game. It's odd enough, he's not that good of a player, but his point guard mentality is really good. And probably icing on the cake, which is really weird, but can I put a vintage player, which is D Rose? D Rose was my favorite player. He's still my favorite player till today. Okay. Probably.
And I've seen you when you're not playing and when you're not practicing, which is rare.
Yeah.
But I've seen you at other gyms as well. So who are some of your peers that you really like playing against? I mean, who are the guys that Isaiah Dockery really got up to play against?
To play against? Oh, okay. All right. In the state right here. Probably the smoothest player that I can think of in the state, Ricky Lujan. That was probably my favorite player to play against, not because he's so good, but because he gave me a challenge too.
No, he was that good.
Yeah,
he was that good. Yeah, let's not be wrong.
And then David Patterson, he was always hard to go against. I always had to guard him, but he's a little bit lengthier than me, so he always gave me a challenge, and that was fun. Another player, when I did play against him last year, Amir was pretty fun to play against. He has a good game. He's a nice, strong guard. Ramos, Josiah, he was. He's just quick. He just runs all over the place, and it's hard he gets you tired after a while. But, one player that I haven't played against that I would like to play against is that Jude Tapia kid for Albuquerque High. Yeah, he put up, I watched him play, he dropped 54, something like that. Yeah, something like that in the game before I watched that live. I was like, dang, I want to play this kid because he's nice. He got that shot. Yeah, so, yeah. Those are some of the
You
players.
Saw him shoot that many times, you're like, I like this, right? That's really what was going on, right?
No, that's not it, I swear.
54!
He shoots a lot. That would be nice.
All right,
Can't happen.
Number one memory for your high school career at Hope, what is it?
Number one, opening game this year, Volcano Vista. It wasn't even state champion, but opening game, Volcano Vista, I got my first dunk. I've never been so hyped in my life. I didn't show it on the outside, but I was like, dang, I finally got that. And I was hyped for it.
Did we do that game? Were we there for that?
I don't know.
We'll have to look in the archives. If we did that game, we'll get you the clip for that.
But yeah, and then of course winning 3 state championships is crazy too. But I think for my own personal, that was definitely it. My first dunk in a game. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, real quick, we got less than a minute to go here. You seem so at ease and so happy right now when the season's over, and obviously we talked about some tough times that you went through. What's the best advice you can give to the next Isaiah Dockery that's starting out at Hope with all those expectations?
Whoa, never mind. Honestly, keep on working. I'm always working, but don't take things for granted sometimes. And honestly, you can let things go if you can let things go after the season and whatever. Just clear your mind and realize there's bigger things in life than just to basketball, and basketball doesn't define you. So, yeah.
Doc, it was good to finally have you in, man. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thanks.
Yeah.